African-American playwright Jeremy O. Harris brought his 12th-time Emmy-nominated play to London for a run on the West End, but he got himself in a bit of hot water this week when he went out on the media round to promote his 12-time Emmy-nominated play. Let's take a listen.
No one is saying that by inviting black audiences here, you were uninvited.
On Broadway, there were nights where tickets were only sold to people who identified as black. Are you going to do that in the West End?
I'm so excited to, yeah.
You are?
Yeah. I mean, I think that one of the things that we have to remember is that people have to be radically invited into a space to know that they belong there. And in most of our country, in most places in the West, poor people and black people have been told that they do not belong inside of the theater. In America, Jim Crow existed to literally tell them that they could not sit in the same theater as white people.
So close, but so far. Racial segregation isn't progress, it is madness. I really hate it when these Americans come over to Britain and bring their race relations claptrap over here. Britain is not America. We never had Jim Crow laws in Britain, actually, Jeremy. Yes, we might have had a colour bar, which was disgraceful. But black people and poor people actually were never told that they did not belong in theatres. So please keep your race relations nonsense on the other side of the pond. The British government should not be giving money through the Arts Council to institutions that promote this kind of divisiveness. And I think it's an absolute disgrace that these black-only nights are going ahead. It's not what Britain needs. Belinda, do you think this is what Britain needs?
Oh, please go away. It's almost like whenever America sneezes, you know, England has to catch its cold. And I just want done with these crazy lunatic racists who are sanctioned by a lot of the sort of liberal progressives here as being somehow virtuous and saint-like because they're speaking for, you know, black and brown people. They're insulting and infantilizing black and brown people by saying that they can't, you know, experience a white gaze during a play about oppression. Imagine if women started demanding women-only theatre nights during plays which happened to cover the oppression of women centuries ago. We would be laughed at. I think it's insulting, infantilizing, it's racism. You know, we never had slaves working on English soil. You know, very unlike America, where the claim is that slaves did build America and the descendants of slaves are there. It's a very, very different issue here in England. That's not to say we don't have slavery in the past, but we got rid of it. You know, the UK should be so proud. We should be celebrating the fact that we ended slavery as a British nation, instead of having this claptrap from America. And I don't know why these radio stations host racists as if they're trying to be somehow virtuous.
Is this just a marketing campaign, Darren Grimes? Because ultimately, look, this play actually sounds quite good. It's about trauma, interracial relationships, sex, race, power dynamics, and it's got nominated for 12 different Tonys, I believe. So this is it sounds like a very good play, but actually, white people aren't banned from buying tickets because you can be black identifying, and he's actually said that black people can bring white people with them. So it's just marketing to make more money rather than
absolutely, and this is all part of one big, massive grift, right? This is how you... books, for example, titled Whiteness is a Psychosis or whatever else. This is an attempt to actually garner attention, and it's worked.
It's worked.
We're all talking about it. I tweeted about it. And the fact of the matter is that I'm afraid until we all start saying, let's reject this nonsense wholesale, because I don't think we should have some collective guilt. In fact, I can't think of anything more racist a notion than the idea that we all should have some form of collective guilt. For what? What am I doing if I want to go see a play that is oppressing somebody else? I just find the whole idea, well, one, deeply offensive, but two, just part of a wider problem that's pretty systemic within definitely the arts industry.
Benjamin, is there any argument you can make in Jeremy's favour?
Yeah, I think there is, because actually, first of all, in this country, this is an often forgotten fact, but more people go to the theatre than go to football matches. We are a country of arts lovers, and that's something I'm really proud of. But there's definitely the case that there are people from minorities, people from working class backgrounds, people from ethnic minorities in particular, that don't feel that the theatre is a place, that the arts is a place that is for them, in the same assumptions that, you know, a white guy from a private school is going to think. And so you have to ask, how do you address that problem so they know that these spaces are for them? I think a better answer is having funding for black-only producers and writers to put on plays rather than the audience. But he's absolutely got a point that you need to go out and reach out to those groups and say, this is for you as well.
That's so insulting. So it's like saying, oh, the countryside is racist, isn't it awful, isn't it terrible? Everyone is free to go to the theatre if they want to, whether they're from working class. What an insult to working class people.
It's not an insult, it's that they feel like it's not for them.
How do you know? This is just an assumption of the liberal mind that the poor working class and black people aren't capable of imagining themselves.
No.
Condescending and patronising.
It's not. It's because if you go into a room full of people that all look the same, all posh old white people, then you will feel excluded, and you have to actively change those
Benjamin, excuse me, but I am currently on a panel where no one else looks like me. I do not feel excluded. I do not feel oppressed. I don't feel like I need a safe space from white people. And I just don't think that what is needed in society is segregation. I think we need spaces that are going to be encouraging social integration, cultural integration, instead of promoting parallel societies. Connor, you must agree with that, surely.
Oh, yeah, definitely. When you brought up the point about historical anachronism, in the 40s, the UK government had to fund films for American GIs to understand that we don't segregate our pubs over here when the Americans were stationed over here. Britain's never been segregated like America. But to your point, Darren, yes, it is a grift. It's absolutely a grift by the grievance industrial complex that wants to peddle a false myth about racism so they can line their pockets with money, as Ben has just endorsed. The aggregate effect, though, is really sinister, because no matter whether or not he means it sincerely or just to pack out the theatre from controversy, it heightens the tension of anti-white racism. And whether or not he means it just to line his own pockets, he speaks as if he has a vehement hatred of white people, which is being endorsed by all the institutions. And I just think, like you, we don't need racial segregation. I'd rather diffuse the racial tensions. Thank you very much.
And I mean, look, would this actually put you off going to see the play?
I don't want to see it anyway.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to see it if it's being promoted.
Well, there we go. This black story written by a black person, and you all go, oh, I don't want to see it anyway.
Because he seems
insane. That tells a story about the racism in this country
I'm saying the
and
way
exactly what he is trying to
Benjamin,
overcome.
the way the play is being sold, the fever and the passion and the sort of frothing at the mouth he had about saying, oh, I'm so excited about having black... Oh, my God.
There you go.
It is so,
why would he want to be in a room with you?
But why? I'm saying anyone who preaches segregation and racism will put me off wanting to go and see something.